tutorial. Today we are going to discuss about the IDs and more of class selectors. So last lesson we discussed about the class selectors, and we saw much things about the hierarchy of the class and compared with the tag. We compared with the tag selectors. So today let's look at the class, not class, but the ID selectors. So we talk about ID selectors. It's not necessary to do these so many stars just for formality. Doesn't mean it cannot work without that. Now let's look at what is ID selector and how we can use it to style our HTML page or style our website page. For example, we can come here. Remember, I told you you can also use this VS Code direct to run the code. But if you are used to use the PyCharm, go ahead and do that. But let me use this one for today. And therefore, I am going to run this one. But because there is another program running, let me close that first. Yeah, it's closed. Then let me come here and run this now. Yeah, these are applied migrations that come when we do the database. Don't worry about that. Let's open this one. You can draw and then click, or you follow this link. And yes, so where we are. It's what we did last time. Now, when it comes to the ID selector, we use it sparingly. We don't use it more often like we do with CSS. The reason we are going to see them later. Now let's just have an example to style. For example, I want to style this home. Let me go home. Let me see the templates. The home is here. I want to style this heading. I love true love of my life. So this is class now. At the end of this class, we are going to say ID. ID, we can call it heading. Heading. All right. Now that is ID. When you Control S to save the changes, you can come here to in the CSS, and it is found in static, then CSS. No, this is not the one of production. This is in the production. CSS that we should use is this one that is within the home app. So this one, and then we style it. How we do ID selector, we search by hash like that, or pound. When we do this hash or pound, we say heading, and then curl brackets, then we say that heading, let's say bold, let's say font, let's change the font size to be massive, like 3 em. When we talk about this one, em and rm, don't worry, we are coming to that in advanced CSS, but let me use it nevertheless. But let me use this one which we have used to, like 250 pixels. Control S, and then look at the size. It has changed to green. It has also it has confused us because that is not what we wanted. So let's do heading, and let's say 4 rem, and refresh. It requires the hand and refresh, and hand refresh, you press down the shift button and refresh the page, and you see it has now got massive, but the color red has disappeared. Even if we do the 250 or 250 pixels now, it will work. Very massive. Then refresh the page, and yeah, very massive, big, successively big. So let me go back to the project and let it be like font size. Let me change the color. So color be black, right? Control S, and yes, the color is black now. So that is how we fix the ID, and that is how we change the ID. So where is the difference between ID and classes? Let me show you something here. You can use the ID in many areas within a page. You can you can use class in many areas, same class within the ID, but you cannot use the same heading within a page. That difference number one. For example, this is a heading. We can use this Kenya class, and we see this class is Ford also we can say this class is circular, but let me make this one out of here. Let me use these images because we have been using them for some time. Let me see this one, this second, to be circular. And see what will happen. So this is a class and this another class, but they are within the one, only space separating them. Now when you come to styles, we can also target this class as circular, and when we say border radius to be 100%, this makes the content circular, or the image within this circular. So when you do Control S and refresh the page, look at the E. You see, it has now become circular. So this one has been affected because of the type of this class that we have just indicated here. It is image 2, but there is class, but we cannot do that when it comes to the heading or to the ID selector. So we cannot make a space and say red. Let me make it clear. Let me say this one we want it to be massive. Change this a bit. Instead of black, let's make this be a color to be green or green yellow. And Control S. Let's check the color that has changed. And yes, it has changed. Now look at here. If we do this heading and we add font, and this font we make it as we have done for CSS, this we say let's say font, then we say font family, let's say font family, this one. Then we Control save and we come here and refresh. Nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. Let me add refresh. Nothing is going to happen. So that means this one is not affecting, this one is not even affecting the font. This font over here, it has no relationship with this, so you cannot use the heading like this, but you can use class and you style them separate and it works. So that is different, number one, between the class and the heading. Another difference between the two is that you can use the same class within a page, but you cannot use the same heading within a page. So for example, you cannot come here and say heading. You cannot say ID here, and then you give it heading. You cannot do that, but you can come here and say, you can come here and you add another image and you style it. You can come here and say, this one is image 1, and then you say another image 1. You can come here and you control C here to paste another one, say image 2, and this one will work perfectly. But this heading Kenya will not work. Let's see. You see, it has been it has been good here. It has been good those here, and you see the Kenya, it is also having the greenish. But why is it that the family is not coming out clearly? Oh, sorry, it has not worked. This one should be H1, sorry, H1. This one should be H1. So when you do Control S and you refresh, you see everything is working well apart from the style of the font. So that captures us with the former idea that you use this one ID sparingly. Use ID sparingly. So within a paint, it is advised you use only one ID, but you can use as many as classes as possible. Another difference between the two is that I want us to look at pseudocode. And the pseudocode is CSS functionality that ensures there is a behavior. For example, when you mouse over some image, it changes background. So that is called CSS pseudocode. So let's see an example of CSS pseudocode. So this is an image, and I want this image when you mouse over or when you hover, it changes background color. So you can come here and say, I want when the image is hovered, when you are using pseudo, you have to say the call like that and then over like that. So we can say red. Let's control C and see whether it is going to work. Refresh. When you hover, you see it is red. You see it is red. You see it's red. When you hover over the image, the background color changes. Now you can also change its color to gold. And Control S and we hover and we refresh. Then we hover, it is gold. Now, like, you can see how it is behaving now. Now this is a pseudocode, one of pseudocode. Many of them you get from link that I'm going to share with you, and you will be able to mess up with the website offering and all that kind of pseudo. There are so many. I just give you one example, and then you learn on your own and so many others, and you know how to put them inside the website. So that is how we can see, and that is how we incorporate the heading, or actually we do the ID in our web page. We use that one. Remember, we have said ID should be used at least one within a page, and it should not be used the same in the page. You can use two or more, but you need to change the heading, or you need to change the spelling or the title of the ID. If only you must use them more than one in one page. Then we have also talked about the difference between ID and selector and class selector, that the class selectors or the class can be used so many within the page, such as we have seen an example of such in here. Circular ID, circular, and image to circular, and they have worked. Let me first of all remove this one just for the exam, for the just for the show or for the example. So we can use like this, and we cannot use ID in such a way. And we also talked about ID pseudocode. Pseudocode is whereby we have seen we can hover the class or the chunk of an element to bring us different background color when we hover or when we mouse over the image. So those are things that I wanted us to discuss about today. Next time we are starting the intermediate and advanced CSS. So get prepared. Meet you then. We learn more about CSS. Goodbye. Thank you.